I married, divorced, and married the same man again. We were together for 7 years. Then we were married for 5 years. Then we divorced. The reason why we divorced is because there was communication breakdown. We were just focused on doing our own thing. We forgot to nurture the marriage because after together for 7 years, we are so comfortable with each other. We took each other for granted. And, both of us thought like, oh, okay, so we are married, we are done. Okay, full stop, we can focus on our own thing. And that is so wrong, right?
Hello and welcome to Make It Work, the bi-weekly podcast where we uncover inspiring stories of modern working mamas in Asia who have redefined their career paths whilst putting family first.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Make It Work. It's a really special one because I'm doing this in person for the first time with my guest, Lily Q. Lily Q is a mom of two and an award-winning entrepreneur. She has two brands, Q Organics and Sugar K, which are organic facial spas in Singapore.
On that note, Lily has offered an amazing discount for listeners of Make It Work. First-timers to Q Organics Spa who use the promo code MIW35 will receive a 35% discount on Q Organics award-winning facial spa treatment at any of their outlets. If you're based in Singapore, you definitely don't want to miss out on this. And not to worry, the details of this amazing promotion can all be found in the show notes. Now, back to the podcast.
Beyond the business successes, I was really intrigued by her personal story. So Lily, believe it or not, has married, divorced, and remarried the same person. She has also given birth to two lovely daughters at her age of 42 and 45 respectively.
45 and 48.
Oh, 45 and 48. So that's why this is a story that you don't want to miss. I don't want to miss. And she's a lovely, warm personality and woman with a mission. I couldn't be more excited to have her here today. So welcome to Make It Work, Lily.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, please tell us about yourself and your creative story in 2 minutes or less.
Hi, I'm Lily Q. I'm 53, going 54. I have two daughters, 5 and 8. I have been running Q Organics facial salons and Sugar K, our express organic facial bars, for the last 10 years. We have 3 outlets across Singapore and an online store also retailing our organic skincare products. A fun fact about me is that though I've been in the beauty industry for more than 25 years, I advocate going makeup free because I believe in natural beauty.
Nice. So we're going to zoom in right now.
Yeah.
And this is Lily Q's bare skin, strut in bare skin. I think that's her logo. Amazing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Lily, tell us about your daily routine. What do you do that keeps you glowing, as you can see? And handling 2 young kids and a business at a pretty mature age.
I don't have any secrets. I don't take any supplements. The only thing I take is probiotics, if you consider that as a supplement. Yeah, because I believe in eating wholesome food. So even though I'm working, I still make it a point to try my best to cook from scratch. Yeah, so I think that kind of helps. And also in terms of exercise, I do a lot of walking. I don't have the luxury of time to go to hit the gym and dedicate that 1 hour or 2 hours of time to exercise. So I do whatever I can. Sit-ups, leg raise with my daughter sitting on my legs and just playing, running or dancing with them. And I think it's also sleep. I believe sleep is very, very important. And no devices after 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, so because when I come back 6 or 7 o'clock, I just have that span of 2 to 3 hours with the kids. So I throw away all my devices. And I think that really helps because all of us know that devices before bedtime really disrupt the sleep. And sleep is so important for everything, right? If you have good sleep, like 6 to 7 hours, you will notice the difference mentally, psychologically, as well as physically.
Honestly, this is something that I'm also trying to practice more, the no devices before bed. But even with the busy business, do you really cut off after 6 p.m.?
Yeah, actually, I learned my lesson in the first 17 months of my elder daughter's life. So for the first 17 months, I was still trying to do it all, like as a woman, we say we want it all. So I was this side, juggling with my kid, and that side I was trying to do my work. And I noticed a difference in my kid's behavior. Like the focus is not there, and she will try to act out just to get my attention, right? Because when they act out, naturally we were like, hey, don't do this. And so whether it's good attention or bad attention, they got our attention, right? So I don't want to encourage that acting out. And then on the other hand, if I try to juggle kids and work, then I realize that I'm not being productive. So it took me a transitional period of 17 months to realize that, and I started to compartmentalize. So 9 to 6, Mondays to Fridays, I will focus on work while they're in school, preschool, and this and that, right? Then after 6, I focus on them. So because I have this curfew, so I will only do or put in whatever matters, whatever is important. As a result, I also learn to say no to a lot of things. And at the same time, I also sacrifice a lot of things. For example, why I put inverted comma is because, like, networking and all this, they are necessary for businesses or even as a working executive. Selective network is essential. But the thing is, I told myself, okay, I can have it all, but not all at the same time. And I choose to prioritize my kids growing with them over the business because I believe that the business opportunities will come again. I can earn back the money, but once the kids are grown up, I cannot reverse the time. So all this shift of mindset and shift of thoughts and the lifestyle does help.
Yeah, thanks for actually bringing that up. I think it's a good segue to talk about how bring us back, to the time when you were running a business and then you got pregnant. Yeah, how did that affect your schedule, your life, your business, how you thought about work, the whole process of, before you became a mom and then after you became a mom? Yeah, can you tell us about some of the changes that
before
went
I
through?
became a mom, because I really enjoy what I do, I really get that high when I see my customer skin from so many issues and I transform their skin to like so clear that they come back and tell me, oh, now I have a choice whether to put makeup or not makeup. I cannot describe that high I get from them. It's priceless. So because I really enjoy what I do it 7 days a week. So when I got pregnant, I was still doing the same thing because, the busiest time is not when you're pregnant. The busiest time is when the baby comes along, right? Yeah. So when I was pregnant, in fact, I launched my skincare line, Q Organics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just about a week before I went to give birth, I launched 19 SKUs, 19 products.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all through communication on email. They send samples. I tell them the kind of formulations. I didn't need to travel at all. So I could just do everything. And also a week before I went to give birth, I set up my second outlet at Clarke Quay Central as well. Yeah, very involved with the renovation, the design, the interior design, all this. Yeah. So when the baby came along as a new mother, I just do the same thing until when she was 17 months. Then I started to compartmentalize, like I say, apart from the 9 to 6, right? So weekends, I only work like if necessary for me to go on Saturday, and Sunday is a no. Yeah, so it was very difficult for me initially because I'm not used to it. But my husband reminded me like, hey, now you have a family. I think you should just like take Sunday off. Yeah, so it takes a little bit of being intentional about it. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'd love to hear about your story with your husband. I know that you have an interesting journey of deciding to have kids, conceiving. So bring us back to those days, Lily.
So honestly, I have never thought about having kids. Yeah, so I married the same man, divorced, and married the same man again. Yeah, so it's very funny. So we were together for 7 years, then we were married for 5 years, then we divorced. So the reason why we divorced is because there was communication breakdown. We were just focused on doing our own thing. We forgot to nurture the marriage because after together for 7 years, we are so comfortable with each other. We took each other for granted. And, both of us thought like, oh, okay, so we are married, we are done. Okay, full stop, we can focus on our own thing. And that is so wrong, right? Because we stopped communicating, we stopped nurturing. So when we need to communicate, the whole communication just broke down. And we just cannot see eye to eye. And after 5 years, it was so tiring. It was so draining emotionally as well. Yeah, so because we always end up in argument or like, you don't understand me, I don't understand you. So at the end of 5 years, I decided to call it off because it's just too much. It's just too much for me. There's no way. I mean, I couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel because we just cannot speak with each other. Like by the third sentence, we will break into an argument. So it was, physically, mentally, emotionally. Oh, it just sucked everything out of me. Yeah. But because we didn't divorce on a bad note, right? There wasn't like any bad feelings, and we still had feelings for each other. So after the divorce, we still kind of kept in touch, and he fell into like a kind of a mild depression, thinking like, why this happened? Isn't like marriage through thick and thin, Yeah. And also he also realized his faults, but at that time, men, they want pride. So he put all the blame on me so that he will feel kind of okay with himself, Yeah. So he ignored me. But on and off, I still went back to see him because I know he wasn't in a very good state.
Yeah.
And then, so one day, I saw a friend. This friend, he used to be very disheveled. He used to owe a lot of people money. But when I saw him that day, he was very well dressed, and then, like struck in bad stead, And then I'm like, hey, what happened to you? And he said, oh, I started going to church. So I say, oh, which church? I want to go with you because I had my ex-husband in mind, right? Like, if God can make him from this to this, so I think God can do something with my ex-husband.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, not for yourself, but for your husband.
Yeah, I thought I was okay, right? Yeah. So
Obviously.
So then I brought my ex-husband to this church. He went this church with me. And you know what? He joined a cell group, and the cell group leaders knew about our divorce, and they secretly wanted to reconcile us. Yeah. And then when I knew about it, I wanted to leave the church. I was like, crazy, right? Married, divorce, and then married, and then what if it doesn't work out and then divorce again? I'm not Elizabeth Taylor, okay? Yeah. So I wanted to leave the church, but the cell group leaders were so warm, so nice, so welcoming. Every week I rejected their invitation to go to the cell group. Every week they just invite me. Till, like, I just feel a little bit bad, Then after like half a year or what in the church, I was like, okay, I just go once and that's it,
Right.
Yeah. So I went once, and I don't know, somehow I felt very good, very comfortable. Then I just kept going back. So during that 4 years, though we were divorced, but we see each other in cell group and in church. So it's like basically twice a week. Yeah. And also over through the period of 4 years, I also began, when we are apart from each other, we began to have time to reflect because nobody to quarrel with anymore, right? So what happened was I did self-reflection, internalize some things, and I realized that, hey, I haven't been a good wife in a way that I was just too focused on myself. Yeah, I was too self-centered, but I didn't realize I was self-centered, But on hindsight, I realized that every time I would be thinking like, it's his fault, what? He's not doing this, he should have done this, everything is he should have this, he shouldn't have that. So what about me? What is my role and my part in contributing to the divorce? Yeah, so I began to realize all these things, and also by the grace of God and also the wisdom of God, right? I began to realize that, hey, marriage is not about me, right? Marriage is about putting our spouse's needs above our needs. There's a saying, marriage makes us more and more like God's image. Yeah. So because if you sign up for marriage, it's no longer about your needs first. I realized this is always about our spouse's needs and unconditional love. And most importantly, we are made so differently. The only way to have a blissful marriage is really for me to look at my spouse through the lens of God. Yeah, just to accept him for who he is and what he is. Right? In the past.
Yeah, there's more understanding and a kind of
so
give and
it's
take.
like a progress and a process throughout that 4 years. Then at the end of 4 years, because we still had feelings for each other, so naturally, we just kind of got back again as good friends.
Right.
It just kind of progressed to like, oh, so what, should we take the next step? Before the second marriage, we actually made a promise to each other like, okay, look, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That definitely men and women will look at things differently, do things differently, think things differently. So how when we have this date? So as believers, we told ourselves like, okay, marriage takes 3. So the third person is God. And if there are some differences or disagreement, we refer back to the referee. We're like, So our motto is what would Jesus do?
Wow.
Yeah, then we kind of resolve. Yeah, and it's been a good 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gee, congratulations.
Yeah, it sounds like there's been a big difference from your first and your second marriage because of the fact that you all are willing to talk it out, and also because you all now both have the common beliefs in God. So that's really wonderful.
And it's also because of this that I have the courage to give birth.
Oh.
In the past, I never wanted children. I never thought of having children because it is just not an easy job.
Yeah.
Raising them, giving them the right values, and it's just hard work, right?
Yeah.
Marriage is already hard work, and kids is like, I just cannot imagine. But somehow or rather, during our second marriage, the thought of having a kid just came in. And very funnily, when I shared with my husband this, thought of having kids, at that time we were 42, same age. And he was like, are you nuts? Some people this age are already grandparents, and you want to have a kid. And then I'm like, yeah, I also think so. Okay, so I brushed the idea away.
Right.
But I don't know why. Every day when I wake up, the first thing that came to my mind is the image of a baby.
Wow.
And the last thing before I sleep is the image of a baby. So it went on for about 2 years.
Right.
So I said, cannot, I got to get this out of my system. So we had a conversation again, and this time around, he's like, okay, maybe we can try, and so we tried for a while. Naturally, it didn't work out. So I had to go to TCM, Traditional Chinese Medicine Hall, and sit there every week and wait for my turn and get packets of herbs to go back and do, right? So about half a year later, I just asked the sincere, I said, what are my chances and how long is this going to be? And he said, I don't know. There's no guarantee, And I'm like, in my mind, hello, I'm 44 already. Yeah, so I went back and then I had a conversation with my husband, like, maybe we should try IVF. And then he's like, no, we shouldn't. We should do it naturally. Somehow or other, I managed to talk him, say, hey, let's do IVF. And he said, okay, we just do it once. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then that's it. Yeah, so we went for the IVF, and thankfully I was pregnant upon the first try.
Wow,
yeah, so I gave birth
that's
at
amazing.
45.
Yeah.
And then another one at 48, also via IVF. Yeah.
Wow. Such a crazy, amazing journey. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to be said. And I know that a lot of our listeners are moms who are older or thinking about having kids at an older age. Would love to hear, your thoughts around that, Lily. Like, what are the big considerations? What will you go back to tell yourself at 45 years old about being a mature mom?
I would say kids are smarter than we think they are. Just let go, because my first kid, right, for the first 2 years, we were so uptight. Cannot touch this, cannot touch that. It's crazy. Not so much of me, but more of my husband. He would buy the best shoes, the best clothes, the best toys. And now I would tell myself, and it's not necessary, because really all this, they can't tell the difference. Yeah, the only difference is just be with them. And when with them, right, don't keep telling them what to do, what not to do. Don't be too protective, just let them rough it out. They will manage. They will manage. And in fact, because of the first experience that we were so uptight and so protective, right? So when the second one came along, we were more chill about it.
Yeah.
And we could see the difference between two of them.
Right.
So the first one is a little bit whiny, a little bit shy. Whereas the second one is like 4 years old. We were at the hawker center. I remember one incident where I said, I forgot to take the chopstick. And she just like, Mama, I go and take for you. And she just went up to the guy, the hawker, and like, and she will go out and like, Uncle, 我可以有筷子吗? So it means like, Uncle, can I have a pair of chopsticks? Yeah. So the second one is very gung-ho, no fear, very chatty, very friendly. She will automatically go up to people and hug the person, Whereas the first one is a little bit more reserved.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think this is a product of being older parent, being very productive of the kids?
I don't know whether it's an older parent thing or not, but I think don't have to be so protective. Yeah, let them rough it out.
Yeah, but really would love to dig deeper into the kind of challenges that you face. Like, I'm sure there are also benefits in being older. You have maybe more resources, like finances, you're more stable. So would love to hear like your thoughts on both sides, the pros and cons of being an older parent.
Okay, maybe I touch on the pros first. I think because as an older mother, naturally we are more mature, right? So we are quite chill with certain things. Like I never have like those plastic toys or plastic knives and plastic scissors,
Oh, yeah, the real ones.
Yeah, we just straight away use the real ones. Of course, I'm next to her. I show her, then I guide her, then they will start using it. Because we're also more confident and more sure of ourselves as an older mom. Yeah. And also because I grew up in a generation where if we want something, we got to work it out. We got to work and get it ourselves, right? Yeah. So I pass on this. So that's why in my house, we don't have a full-time helper. So my kids from young, they have to do like age appropriate things. Like for example, finish their food, they will take the plates to the basin. And then when the dishwasher is done, they will unload the dishwasher and put their own clothes in the laundry basket, pack their own beds, things like that at a very young age. Yeah, so because I was brought up in this way, so it's naturally for me to just continue this. Yeah. Another thing about pros of being an older mom would be, like you say, maybe finances a little bit more stable. So we are able to give them maybe maybe a bit more holidays, I would like to think. Yeah, and take them to maybe places a little bit further. Yeah, so for life experiences, because I really believe in traveling and enriching their life experiences. Yeah. The cons, I would say, actually don't have much cons. I think because for me is I always have the failure is not an option, just do it attitude, And thankfully, in terms of stamina, in terms of energy level, we are okay with that. So I can't think of any cons. So if anybody wants to have babies at an older age, to me, it's like follow your heart. Of course, around me, there are a lot of naysayers, right? But I think at the end of the day, is follow your heart. If you want it, just go for it.
Thank you for tuning in to part 1 of our 2-part interview with Lily Q. Don't forget to check out the details of the exclusive promotion for listeners of Make It Work in the show notes. And stay tuned for part 2. See you there.